Rockstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Sorry, I have not been live all week. I have just been, I posted up in the Discord. I've just been so busy with what I do full time. Obviously, I'm not a full time. I try to do full time content, but sometimes your work schedule when it just gets in the way, and it is what it is. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream here, whether you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Appreciate everyone in here. Before we get into today's topic, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, we're going to be talking about the Adrian Wilson thing. We're going to talk about more on that. I'm going to give you my take on that, and then we're going to talk about the Luke Kuechly remarks about Bryce Young. And then we're going to talk about we're going to talk about also what you guys should be anticipating for this upcoming season. I think some of you guys need to have understanding of what these scenarios look like what a realistic season seems like for the Panthers, what a bad season looks like for the Panthers, or what a good season, right, looks for the Panthers, right? And then, of course, we'll go over some of the we're going to go over some of the the depth chart projections, I think, for training camp. So I'm going to go over that. And then, of course, we're going to break down the NFC South. So I've got a lot to discuss and go over today with you guys. So make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe. And I appreciate everyone in here today showing your support. Some other news. All right. Some other news. Okay. I have an announcement. I have signed with a company called Roundtable Sports. All right. And so I'm going to show you this. So Roundtable Sports is a YouTube channel. And basically what Roundtable Sports is where you can find divisional coverage from your favorite content creators across the NFL. They'll also be doing like an NFL channel where it's like a daily news channel every single day, Monday through Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And so I will be a part of that as well. I will also, as you can see, you have all these different divisions in here. So this is huge news. And now we have the NFC South, where I will be debating with these guys, Mr. Bucks Nation, Smitty Sports Machine, and then, of course, State of the Saints podcast. So yeah, I'm going to be part of this NFC South roundtable. So guys, do me a favor. Make sure you go over to Roundtable Sports, subscribe to this channel, and also go over to the NFC South Roundtable, subscribe, and hit that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of the debate shows. And I think the debate shows are either going to be on – it's supposed to be one of the days. Obviously, it's going to be – it's 1 day a week, and it's going to be one of the days of the week, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We're not sure yet. I think it'll be more in the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday range. And it's going to be 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. one of the days during the week. All right. So when we start this roundtable for the NFC South again, I think we actually committed to Thursdays from 7 to 8:30, or 7 to 8:30, or 7:30 to 9, something like that, within that range. But do me a favor, go over there, hit the subscribe, and subscribe to all the channels, the hosts of these channels, and make sure you tune into their channels as well, and then of course this as well. And I'm already subscribed to these guys. I've been in contact with them. We've been DM each other back and forth on Twitter. So go check it out. Huge news, great news. And that they're also going to be a part of helping me with some merch. And they have their own merch at Roundtable Sports. You're already subscribed to this NFC South roundtable? Because this is a total different NFC South roundtable. There are other NFC South roundtables, but this company alone roundtable. Sorry, hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. My bad. Let's see here. Chris, if you've already subscribed to the NFC South roundtable, is it this one or is it a different one? So, because make sure it's this one, because there are other roundtables out there. But this is like an official from an official company like Roundtable Sports. They've got over 17,000 subscribers. It all started up really with these guys at the AFC East Roundtable. So I don't know if you've seen these guys before, like TD Fins Talk, Dan Mitch. I think this is Patriots Global, and then Richie, who's part of Jets Media. They are, here they are: Jets Media, Patriots Global, Dan Mitchell, and then of course TD's Fin Talk. So they are the starters of Roundtable Sports, and so they have brought me along for this journey. Okay, great. Cool, Chris. Well, I'm glad you did it. We're going to start up supposed to be maybe sometime next week. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. I can't stop clicking off of StreamYard for some reason, guys. I keep hitting the back button on StreamYard when I'm trying to hit the back button on this. So Roundtable Sports, again, I'm over here clicking on shit for no reason. Obviously, I'm just out of it today, so whatever. It is what it is. Stop hitting that button. I know. Dude, look, guys, I have been so busy with my current job. I haven't been able to think half past my ass. So I apologize. That's okay. Great. You're already subscribed. That's so weird though, Chris. You had some comments earlier. What happened to them? All right. Well, Chris, Seneca, Mad Chatter. Thank you. Mad Chatter, you changed your name. Fuck yeah. You just need to keep your name, the Mad Chatter. And then you need to get a profile picture of like the Mad Hatter guy, but like of your face. That would be sick. Just saying. Stop hitting that button. I know, James. I'm over here just clicking shit to click shit. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button. Of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. And we're in here, man. We're in here like swimwear. Let's see. I'm still live over there on Twitter, looks like. Keep saying that I'm not live, but that's okay. It's no big deal. We'll deal with it later. We will deal with it later. All right, let's get into this. Enough of the chit chat. Enough of the chit chat. Beautiful day in Carolina. It's not here. Not here. But I'm assuming you are being sarcastic too. So I don't know. All right, the Adrian Wilson thing. Let's talk about it. This is unwanted. This is unneeded. Luckily enough, it's in the off season. Obviously the sudden departure to me kind of left me wondering what happened. I was really unsure of why this whole thing happened after the post NFL draft, right? So I wasn't sure. Something definitely seemed off, especially with the cryptic statement for the team. And so it was clear that there was more to this story, and now we know the full picture. So the former vice president of player personnel was arrested on charges, and I know y'all probably heard about this. I've already heard about this. So damaging property and assaulting, causing physical harm and disorderly conduct. And there was more details, and it paints a grim picture for this. According to Scottsdale Police Department, Wilson's arrest stemmed from an incident after finding separation papers from his wife upon returning home late that night. And Wilson allegedly became violent. He reportedly broke various household items. He pinned his wife against the wall or against a bed and began to choke her before she managed to escape. And the situation escalated further when Wilson took a gun from a safe and threatened to leave and harm himself and eventually drove away with a weapon. So the report also notes that the Wilson's 3 children were present during this incident. So for the Panthers, there was really no choice but to act, right? There was no wiggle room here. I mean, despite the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, you know, when you hear all what happened, the severity of these allegations obviously left Pepper and the team no option but to cut ties with this guy. I mean, everyone. Again, I will say, I think that this is something you can say. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. I just don't think that when it comes to these types of things in the NFL, you cannot wait around to just see what happens, right? And you can't wait for a court verdict. You just need to go ahead and cut ties because, unfortunately, you know, that's how it is. I mean, and that's how it is even in the real world with certain, you know, if I got a DUI or I did the same thing and my company found out that I work for, I guarantee you they cut ties with me too. I think, you know, moving forward with this whole situation, you know, the problem is this organization didn't need this. All right. Carolina's in a significant rebuild. And this kind of distraction is the last thing that we need. The only thing I can say is luckily we're in the off season and we're about to start up training camp. So the team likely conducted a thorough investigation before making their decision, I'm sure, which every organization should. But even a hint of truth in these allegations I mean, this guy's career could be done, right? And so we're now facing the finding a suitable replacement who can help steer the Panthers in the right direction from a player personnel standpoint. And our franchise is showing signs of progress, and they can't afford any derailments. You know, but there's been a lot of social media actions. There were some fans who were just wondering why he was fired. They didn't really understand and weren't sure if they were supposed to support the decision. Then social media erupt with relief and agreement with the team's swift action because it did seem mysterious because of this just abrupt change out of nowhere. But I think it was seen as a necessary step to protect this team's, you know, culture and future, right? This is a significant event that really underscores the Panthers' commitment to maintaining a positive focus environment. That's what we need here, unfortunately, because we've shit the bed for the past how many years, right? I mean, this is just regardless of the outcome of this guy's legal battles, there's nobody to blame here but himself for this downfall. Sorry, that's the way I look at it. The only person you can blame is yourself, right? I'm a big believer on learning how to react to things and also understanding what I can control. I can only control what I can control. So learning how to control yourself and your anger, I think that's a must. But, you know, we'll see who they hire, right? The guy had a promising career in the NFL. Now it hangs in a balance, and he's got a tarnish, and now it's kind of tarnished by personal actions that he'll have to account for. So in the end, we're moving on and just trying to be ready to tackle this upcoming season. So that's really all I got to say, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's just so many. It's a lot of allegations. It's a lot of allegations. So it's all good. It is all good. Appreciate everyone in here. Any Panthers news? Yeah, we're going to talk more. She definitely cheated. Who knows, man? Again, the allegations are the allegations, right? The only thing I know is what I told y'all. The everything that I told y'all between him, you know, between what I heard, she gave him divorce papers, and then he became violent, right? He apparently broke various household items. He pinned his wife against the bed, began to choke her before she could escape. Then it escalated further that he took a gun from his safe, threatened to leave and kill himself, basically, or harm himself, whatever you want to call it, right? And he drove away with the weapon, and his 3 children were present during that. Listen, if a woman wants to leave me, there's the door. I don't chase no women anymore. I don't care if she's happy, unhappy. And it is crazy, Supernova. Like, no woman, no offense. Like, even the mother of my child, right? I have a child, I have a daughter. Even the mother of my child, we're not married, but she's my girlfriend. We've been together for a while now. If she told me she was unhappy and she wanted to leave me, okay, there's the door. I'm not going to chase you, because when a significant other makes up their mind like that and they tell you that, they truly mean it. So when someone truly means, because I take what people say and I think that you truly mean it, and that's just the way I am. Just never. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to change your mind. So in that situation, if I was Adrian, I would have just said, okay, there's the door. And then this whole situation wouldn't have exploded. You let her do her thing and move on. What's up, D Perkins? Appreciate you joining. They got 3 kids. He knows he's done for. The day you learn that rule, you become the Mac Daddy. I'll never chase. No, never chase. Never chase. So again, it's unfortunate. I hate to hear it. I hope everything works out for him. I really do. I don't like hearing these types of things and these allegations. It's not a good look, not only, for our organization, but for him as well. It's unfortunate though. It is. It's really unfortunate. I hate to hear it. Hate that that happened. So, all right, let's move forward. So, Luke Kuechly came out. All right. Luke Kuechly came out, talked about his leadership, Bryce Young's leadership abilities. I don't know if y'all have seen this video yet. He recently shared his thoughts on the up and Adams. Kay Adams brought up the question surrounding Bryce Young's demeanor, which stands in contrast to the typical image of a vocal and commanding leader. So Kuechly, who's entering his 3rd year as the Panthers radio analyst, doesn't see Young's approach as a problem. So let's go through this video real quick. Is it this one? Vocal, here it is. Here it is. This is a quick clip here. Kay Adams.
Vocal, more something else. Is it okay if Bryce Young is a quiet quarterback?
I think when you look at leadership and what that looks like and what guys believe, I think you got to be yourself. And I think yourself naturally comes through as you get older, as you get more comfortable. That was one thing that all the older guys always told me, especially guys like Thomas. I got to learn from a really good leader that was very vocal. And he always told me, he said, hey, be true to yourself. Whatever that true to yourself is who you need to be, because guys on the team have been around long enough that they understand when you're being who you are and when you're putting on a front. So I think Bryce has to continue to be himself, continue to be comfortable. I think that the vocal ability of Bryce just comes with time. You look at last season, how last season went, it was a struggle, but I always kind of go back to what were these guys like in college? If you ask Will Anderson, what was Bryce like in college? I don't think there would have been any question if he was the leader of that team. There would have been no question if he was a guy that they felt like was vocal, a guy that they felt like was energy. I think Bryce is very intelligent. I think he's very he watches a lot before he makes his move. I think he's very thought out. I think he does things on purpose. And yeah, he's quiet. But I think moving forward, he's going to be fine. I think he's going to find his footing. I think one thing that you've heard a lot from Canales is, and the guys over there, is the relationships that he's been able to curate with the guys. And a guy like Bryce that comes in, I think as he continues to develop relationships with the people in the building, the guys on the team, all that stuff's going to come forward. I think he's got everything he needs to be a good leader. I think it's just he's going to do it when it feels right for him.
All right. So obviously you heard Luke. What's up, Doug? Appreciate you joining, man. Obviously you heard Luke, and I mean, the guy's a 5-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer for sure. Was known for his local and passionate leadership on the field. However, I think he is emphasizing that the I think the word I'm looking for is authenticity. Authenticity is key, right? Yeah, you've heard that before. I'm having terrible pronouncing that word. Authenticity, whatever. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Being yourself, whatever. Regardless, it's just one style, right? And he obviously believes that Young, though more reserved, will find his voice in time. He highlighted the importance of Young remaining true to himself and growing into his natural role, right? Obviously reflecting, and then he reflected too the college days. And Kuechly pointed out that those who knew him then, like teammate Will Anderson, had no doubts about his leadership. So Kuechly kind of praised. Obviously, hearing this, I mean, he's praising Bryce Young's intelligent and deliberate approach to his leadership, suggesting that his quieter demeanor should not be mistaken for a lack of leadership potential. Again, as this time goes on with Bryce, again, I could care less about I think leadership, yes, is important. Don't get me wrong, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. But the problem is as much as I think his leadership's important, I need to see his performance on the field. I think that's more important for me. I think because, again, a lot's riding on Bryce Young's performance this year. A lot is riding on Bryce's performance this year. And I need to see that he can perform on the field. And then I think the leadership, if he can perform on the field, that leadership role becomes more, right? Because he's able to change the play up, call the right audibles, or, get into his guys' faces that aren't blocking. Like, there's just different, but Bryce is not that guy, though. I feel like he's not the guy that's just going to be in your face all the damn time. And maybe he will be as time goes on, if he can show that his performance on the field reflects that. I think that this whole leadership thing, whether you're, I think a lot of people take different approaches. You can either be a quiet leader or you can be a loud vocal leader. I think there's ways to be successful in the NFL with the leadership qualities, whether it's vocal or quiet. There's ways of going about it, I think. So, but I appreciate what Luke said. And when you hear Luke Kuechly speak, and his insights, it definitely provides a reassuring perspective on Bryce, especially his ability to lead in his own unique way, right? And so I appreciate his thoughts, and so but good stuff. Good stuff by Luke and Miss K Adams. All right.
Vocal, more something else. Is it okay if Bryce Young is?
All right. Let's get into something here real quick. All right. So, guys, let me ask you a question. And I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll actually put a Q&A up. All right. I want to put a Q&A up, and to me, I'm going to put a Q&A up in the chat here. Let's see here. All right, so the Q&A is, what is a good, bad, and amazing 2024 season look like for the Panthers? That's the question. So what's a good to you guys, sound off in the comments. All right. Starting this Q&A up right now. Sound off in the comments. I'm trying to get this light better. There we go. Sound off in the comments. All right. And let me know. All right. Which one is better? What is a good? Actually, not what's better. What is a good? What is a bad and amazing 2024 season for the Carolina Panthers? That is the question that I'm asking you guys right now. All right. What is a good and what is a bad and what is an amazing 2024 season for the Carolina Panthers? All right. That's the question. To me, when answering this question, it kind of comes back with another question. Like, how successful are we going to be in year one under our new head coach, under Dave Canales? Right? You got a new head coach. We're trying to renew our hope for this team, trying to temper our expectations, right? I think a good season, or I guess you could say I would say good is more like a realistic season, right? I think a realistic season again is like 5-12, 6-11, right? Picture this. So the reason why I say this is a good season for us, and unfortunately, because that's where we are, right? We went 2-15 last year. So 5-12, 6-11, that's a step in the right direction, right? But picture this, for example. The Panthers have emerged from the shadows of a dismal 2-win season, right? So we're clawing our way back to 5 to 6 wins, okay? That is a modest gain for sure. But again, damn, it's thunder and lightning outside. But again, we all know that Rome wasn't built in a day, all right? And neither are championship teams, okay? So the trenches, those gritty backfields on both sides of the ball remain a weak spot, right? The defensive line might feel like more like Swiss cheese than an impenetrable wall. Yet 5-12 or 6-11 record would signify solid progress, right? Showcasing this team's grit, determination, and setting a foundation for the future success. To me, anything less than 5 wins, so 4-13, 3-14, 2-15 again, again, anything like that, that's worth. Anything shy of 5 wins, again, it's a tough pill to swallow because the Panthers offseason shopping spree should translate at least a handful of victories, right? We're falling short of the modest benchmark, right? Would be a setback. Remember even last year's ragtag team managed to keep 5 games within a whisker. They revamped the squad. They should be able to flip a few of those close calls into triumphs. I feel like, and let's not jump to conclusions, right? I think finishing 4-13 doesn't automatically indict Bryce Young or Dave Canales. It's the journey to the record that matters. So did injuries decimate the roster? Did our young players show flashes of brilliance despite the losses? I think that's another thing. Context is key, right? Context is key when it comes to that, all right? I would say an amazing season, like if we had an amazing season, right? 9-8 or better is an amazing season. 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 9-8 or better is an am That would be like a dream case scenario. I would think that would be an overachievement. I think that would be smashing through the ceiling of expectations. Again, right now, if you go bet on BetUS, who's the sponsorship of this live stream, you go on BetUS and you go and put you could bet on the Panthers plus 5.5 for win totals this year. That's where they're at on the betting market. But could you imagine this team winning 9 games? This fan base would be, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Because it'd be the first winning season since 2017. Which also, I think a 9-8 record could win the NFC South. Because I don't see, again, when we break down the NFC South, which I'm going to break it down, I'm just going to let y'all know now, I don't see any team in this division winning more than 9 games. Just letting you know now. But if in that dream case scenario, such a season would mean that the Panthers not only doubled their win total, but they also somehow got around the playoff conversation. All right. So this would require a perfect scenario of player development, strategic genius by Canales, and perhaps a sprinkle of luck, right? It's ambitious, but isn't that what dreams are made of, right? So that would be an amazing season to me, right? 9-8 or better. That would be an amazing season for this team. So, all right, let's get into the, I'm going to pull up PFF because I want to use them. All right, so we're going to go through the pre-draft camp edition. So this is going to be a pre-draft camp edition for the Carolina Panthers roster. What's up, Doug says, less than 8 wins is bad. Good season win is a good win. Amazing making the playoffs. Yeah, pretty much. Good 8 wins competing for a division. Bad wins, 4 wins or less. Amazing win in a playoff game, and the offense is much improved. Yep. They could at least play on the level the Packers did last year, which they went 9-8. So, yo. What up, Rockstar Gang? What up, Marcos? Appreciate you joining, man. I told you I was going to be live today. Again, how many wins did it take to win the division last year? It's true. It's true. Facts on that, Doug. All right. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to use PFF. Because PFF doesn't have all of our players on the roster. Let's go with roster. Might have to use, and hopefully I can go by position. Maybe I can go by depth chart. Yeah, let's do this. Because this is the unofficial depth chart, but do they not have it up yet? Damn, the website don't even fucking have it up yet? The fuck? I don't want to use ESPN. Do we have the full roster here? Can I go by position? Dude, what the fuck? I just want to go by position. Nope. So we're gonna do a pre-draft training camp edition. Should have just made my own, but I haven't had time. I have not had time. Okay, here we go. Let's go with, we'll use this instead. Where is the depth chart here? Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. We'll use this instead. This is interesting. I did go to the Panthers website, Doug. They don't have the actual they have the roster, they just don't have the depth chart. Okay. So we're going to use ourlads.com. They're going to use their depth chart. And everything in gold, as you can see, is in from the rookies. Okay. So obviously, let's start in the quarterback position. You can see here. Actually, I'm going to make this bigger. All right. Let me fix myself here. This guy's in the way. It's an ad. There we go. There we go. Hit save on that. Okay, perfect. All right, so here we go. So we're on the offense right here. As you can see, it is Bryce Young, Andy Dalton. So this is like for our pre-training camp. All right, we're gearing up for training camp. And all eyes is definitely on this offensive squad for sure. So you got quarterback, you got Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, of course. Then back there, you got Jack Plummer. Obviously, this season is pivotal for Bryce. I don't think it's a make or break year for him, but he does need to show that he is the future guy here, right? And then, of course, I think Andy Dalton provides a solid veteran presence to back him up. But Jack Plummer, we'll see if he stays on the roster or if they go out and maybe pick up a veteran. So, which they might do. All right. Running backs, you got Chuba Hubbard there. You got Miles Sanders or Jonathan Brooks. Okay, then next up, I would say is Rashad Penny and then Raheem Blackshear. And then, of course, you still got the Jaden Sheridan and, of course, Mike Boone. We have an abundance of options in the backfield. And obviously, this is going to be a run-heavy offense. It's going to require a deep stable of running backs. So Hubbard's definitely the front runner. And I expect all backs to see action this season. Training camp is going to be interesting for this position. And it's going to be a position you're going to want to watch out for when you look at that running back position down there. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much we got back there in that position. Wide receivers. Okay, as you can see, you got starters. You definitely got Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen. I think Xavier Leggette's the starter over Jonathan Mingo. Whether that ends up being the case after preseason and training camp, we shall see. But right now, I have Jonathan Mingo backing him up too. Terrace Marshall, again, could be a trade candidate, but who knows? He might make the roster. But then you still got Amir Marset, who is a Swiss Army knife, who can kind of do it all with some trick plays and is great for punt returns. David Moore, familiar with the Dave Canales offense back in Tampa Bay. There's a lot of proven talents here, right? You got Deontay Johnson, who's proven, Thielen, who's proven. You got the potential in Leggett. Bryce should have better reliable targets this year, right? The depth could be an issue if injuries rise. I think so. I think there needs to be some backups to be ready to step up. And I think that they're going to end up taking 6 wide receivers. I think it's going to be 6 wide receivers. I think it's going to be 3, 4 running backs. It's got to be 3 or 4. And then someone's on the practice squad, someone they can call up on. But again, we'll see. And then we got the tight end. Right now, I mean, Ian Thomas was getting a lot of talk when it came to when you're looking at that tight end room down there, you can see it. Tommy Trimble's the starter. Right now, I think Ian Thomas is the backup because a lot of people were talking about him in the OTAs and minicamp. how good he was looking. But they have him on here for our lads. They have Jadavion Sanders as the backup to Trimble. And then, of course, you got Steven Sullivan and Jordan Matthews, right? This is Tommy Trimble's time to shine, right? I think Ian Thomas could make a significant impact, possibly, because we've seen some clips. We've heard a lot of good things about him in the OTAs and mini camps. But again, I need to see it on the field. I think Trimble, though, fits well. I think he's the best fit in this offense. And I think Jadavion Sanders also fits better than Ian Thomas does, right? I think Ian Thomas needs to switch to fullback. I think he'd be a great fullback, but that's neither here nor there. I think Jadavion Sanders is going to be the one to watch, and he's going to be that guy for our future, though. So then we got the left tackle. Of course, you got Icky, who's the starter. They've got Ricky Lee as the backup. I don't think that Ricky Lee's the backup. I think it's going to be Yash Nijman, the guy that we got out of Green Bay. I know that they have him right now. At least from this, they have him backing up Taylor Moton. But again, Yash is a swing tackle. But again, Icky, top 10 pick. He needs to step up, deliver a strong return on the investment. I think Canales' wide zone scheme best suits Icky a lot. So I think the pressure is on Icky, but I think he is going to end up proving his worth. Of course, left guard, as you can see, it's Damian Lewis. And then, of course, the backup, I think, is Brady Christensen, but they've got him as backup center. And maybe on here just because of the reports that he's had some, he's had some snaps at center. Again, Brady Christensen's a guy you can swing around, whether you want to put him at right guard, left guard, center, left tackle, right? But Damian Lewis, though, for me, in the left guard position, it was a crucial addition, really solidifying an unstable position last year, right? And then, of course, I would say even from the left guard position, the next person wouldn't be Cade Mays. I would think Chandler Zavala would be the step up. I think our lads might have this a little bit backwards, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. But we needed to secure a dependable left guard. It was necessary, and we did with Damian Lewis. All right, the center position, Corbett. Of course, you got the rookie out of Oklahoma, Rame. And then, of course, they've got the backup as Brady Christensen, which he could be. All right, the transition to center for Corbett. I think a lot of people here may still have some concerns over that, not having a true center on the roster, especially if Andrew doesn't make the cut. I think Corbett's capable, but the lack of depth at the center could be problematic, right? It could be problematic. Chris, I don't take it as disrespect. You have every right to feel that way too. You have every right to feel that way. But you better hope Bryce Young pans out, because this next draft is very thin in quarterbacks, in my opinion. I do not like any of the quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. What's up, Raw Walk? Appreciate you joining, man. Appreciate you joining. All right. Let's continue here. Let's continue, because these are now that I'm going off pre-depth chart right now, because we're going off pre-depth chart leading up to this training camp. All right. This is not a final roster prediction. This is just pre-depth chart to the training camp. Okay. Right guard, of course, Robert Hunt. I think the backup should be Nash Jansen. I don't think Chandler Zavala should be the backup right guard. Why he's over there at right guard makes no sense to me from our lad standpoint. But Robert Hunt definitely embodies that physical need for a downhill smash mouth football player, right? This offseason addition is arguably maybe the Panthers' best, right? Bringing in, especially from the offensive standpoint, you're bringing in toughness and reliability to that offensive line that allowed 62 sacks last year. So very, very important. All right. Right tackle, they've got it as Taylor Moton. They also got Josh Neischmann as the backup, which makes sense too. Again, another swing tackle. So Taylor Moton is the epitome of consistency. He's been that brick wall. He's played every game since 2017, right? He is a reliable anchor, the right side of the line. Josh Neischmann is providing a valuable versatility as a swing tackle there. So, I'm not surprised to see him behind Taylor Moton. But again, Josh can be put even on the left side as well. So it's good to have that. It's a good thing to have a guy like that. Like, honestly, we've got two swing tackles in Brady Christensen and Josh. Honestly, that's just me in my opinion. All right, defense. Let's get into the defense. All right, this is pre-training camp edition again, guys. So looking at the defensive ends, all right, Derek Brown, backing him up is LeBron Ray. Historic season last year for Brown. He's still not, I don't even think he's at his peak yet, right? So I still think he's got immense potential still. I don't think we've seen the best of Derek Brown yet. So I think Derek Brown could soon be regarded as one of the best NFL defensive linemen here soon. He's already ranked number 7, but I'm talking top 3. All right. Nose tackle. There isn't one. Let's be honest. All right. Shy Tuttle, Nick Thurman. Nick Thurman showed some push last year. Shy Tuttle did not show what he showed in New Orleans. I think Shy Tuttle can be a solid run stopper. But he's got to replicate that consistent performance that he had in New Orleans. Okay. His presence in the middle is vital to anchoring this run defense. So, Tuttle, I need you to step up. Defensive end, another one, O'Shawn Robinson, the right-hand side. Again, you got O'Shawn Robinson, you got TJ Smith, and then you got Jaden Crometti, right? The kid out of Mississippi State. So, shining O'Shawn to me was a significant move, and I think it's going to be an underrated move once he shows his worth on the field. I think his additions definitely bolsters this front line. I think it provides us another formidable run defender alongside Brown. So I'm looking forward to what O'Shawn can do. All right, outside linebackers. All right, we got the left side here. We got Jadeveon Clowney, Kayvon Chasen, and, well, they got Amari Barno there. I was thinking Luigi was going to be behind Chasen, but that's neither here nor there. Really, after you get after Chasen, you're really trying to get the scraps. It's like getting the crumbs out of the trying to get the crumbs out of the chip bag at the end. So Jadeveon Clowney steps in, trying to be a solid replacement for Brian Burns. Despite being older, Clowney did prove last season that he has plenty left in the tank, and let's hope that continues. And then the inside linebackers, you got Shaq, Trevin Wallace, the rookie out of Kentucky. Then after that, you got like Tay Davis, Michael Barrett should be there. He's in over here. Of course, you got Chandler Wooten. So to me, Shaq Thompson is back after a fractured fibula. He was sidelined for 15 games last year. Trevor Wallace, the rookie, is going to be he's versatile enough to play both inside spots, but might be a future starter. Who never knows? So maybe if Shaq decides to retire as a Panther, maybe Trevor Wallace steps in and takes his place, right? So he's got a good mentor to look up to. Other inside linebackers, you got Josie Jewell, Claudin Churlis, and then Chandler Wooten. Again, I was mentioning him earlier. You also got, like I said, Michael Barrett, Jackson Mitchell as well. Again, Josie Jewell had his best career season under Ejiro Evero, right? So I think he's a perfect fit alongside Thompson and brings in an all-around better skill set than and this is a big statement to me for me to say this, but I have a feeling that he is going to have an all-around better skill set than Frankie Luvu. I have a really good feeling about Josie Jewell. I really do. Outside linebacker DJ Wanum. He's the starter. Behind him, you got DJ Johnson, Mari Barno, Cam Gill. You see Luigi there. Obviously, Wanum's recovering from a quad injury that kept him out of the spring practice. Is expected to provide that crucial edge presence opposite of Clowney once he's back to full strength. Hopefully, we'll get to see DJ Wanum in training camp. If anybody knows if he's going to return back to training camp, please let me know. I'm not sure if he is or isn't. I have not heard anything about him returning back to training camp yet. I thought he was supposed to return back, but I guess he hasn't, or he. I don't know if he is or isn't. All right, quarterbacks. Starter is J.C. Horn. Then behind him is Deshaun Jameson, and then Lamar Jackson's next up. Cornerback is the biggest concern for me for this team. My biggest concern is obviously J.C. Horn, and if he, can stay healthy, right? Because again, we still have to manage with the depth issues. Again, I know we got first to waiver wire, so hopefully someone for some reason gets let go, because unfortunately we need it to happen because I just don't know if I can rely on J.C. Horn to stay healthy as much as I want to. But his performance is going to be critical to shoring up the secondary. If J.C. Horn stays healthy for 14, 15 games, then I'm okay with it. But it's still a big concern for me, right? Other cornerback position, you got Dan Jackson, DiCaprio, Boodle, and then you got Willie Drew, who I'm pretty high on. I'm hoping that Willie Drew makes this roster. I kind of felt like he would. But right now, Dane Jackson, the current starter there. This could change if Dan Morgan brings in another veteran, right? Obviously, Stephon Gilmore's been in talks, right? But again, the waivers, again, that's where they're going to be looking to bolster up that position. Okay, you got the nickel, you got Troy Hill, then you got Chow Smith-Wade, the rookie out of Washington State. Troy Hill was quietly one of the Panthers' top defenders last year. I think a lot of people do not give him credit where the credit's due. He'll continue to be the starter there. Of course, we want to monitor Chow and see if he can provide some stability and leadership in that nickel position. So when we look at the strong safeties, you got Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott, Alex Cook. Jordan Fuller is an active component in the secondary. He's excelling in both coverage and run support. His familiarity with Evero schemes adds a layer of reliability for me when it comes to Jordan Fuller. Free safety, Xavier Woods, Sam Franklin. Jamie Robinson should not be under strong safety. He's a free safety, but whatever. Xavier Woods is the linchpin of the Panther secondary. He's an excellent communicator when you watch him on the field. He covers a lot of ground. He plays with to the ball well in the air, making him kind of indispensable. So I'm a huge Xavier Woods fan after what I saw last year. I think Dane Jackson is a servable CB2 as long as Horn stays healthy. And Marcos, again, it all comes down to that. And I just hate, again, it's like I hate waiting to see what happens. I don't want to wait to see what happens, right? I'd rather JC Horn I'd rather us bring somebody else in just in case, right? Again, it's better to be safe than sorry. But definitely need to upgrade the corner position for sure. I'm not going to go through special teams. and all of that. So that's the pre training camp breakdown for the Panthers, and we're just preparing for that training camp. But of course, let's get into everything you guys have been waiting for, which is the NFC South breakdown. So we're gonna break it down now. I'm going to PFF here real quick. All right, let's go to who do I want to talk about first? First, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Virginia House says, I like our new kicker, Harrison Mavis. The thicker kicker. That's the nickname for him. All right, Tampa Bay. All right, so first things first, we all know the NFC South is one of the most unpredictable divisions in the NFL, right? We're entering in the 2024 season with all four of these teams having maybe it's only three have a legitimate chance of making the playoffs, maybe two at this point. The Tampa Bay Bucks have been dominant recently, right? They've won the division 3 consecutive years. However, with the significant offensive offseason changes with the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, and then of course ourselves, Carolina, all have reasons to be optimistic, right? Tampa Bay, they're the ones who are holding on to the throne right now. Their biggest key players to me is obviously what they have right here. Baker Mayfield, which he's coming off the best season, right? He threw for over 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns. They went 9-8 last year, another division title. His stellar play earned him a 3-year, $100 million extension, right? Then you got the co-led league with 13 touchdowns, Mike Evans in 2023, and then he secured a 2-year extension. Then you've got Rachaad White, who ranked 4th among running backs with over 1,500 yards from scrimmage, okay? They got some new faces. They brought in Liam Cohen. Who is for their OC. He's the former Rams OC and Kentucky OC. And so they're reuniting him with Baker Mayfield when Mayfield left us and went to the Rams. So it's kind of interesting they brought him in. And then, of course, you got Antoine Winfield, who's anchoring that top 10, which that's been a top 10 defense. Last year it wasn't. But he signed a 4-year, $81.4 million contract, right? I think the Buccaneers' success really hinges on them maintaining their defensive paralysis and hoping that Mayfield can replicate what he did last year, right, under the new OC's guidance, right, since they lost Dave Canales to us, right? So if they achieve that balance, I think they could win the 4th consecutive division title, right? Again, Tampa Bay, despite his career year and a strong defense, they lost Dave Canales, and they have a tough schedule. If you look at the Buccaneers' schedule, I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick. If we look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule, it's pretty tough. So, looking at their schedule, week 1 against Washington, then week 2 at Detroit, home against Denver, home against Philly, at Atlanta, at New Orleans, home against Baltimore, home against the Falcons, at Kansas City, home against San Fran. They get a bye. Then they're at New York. They're at Carolina. And then they're home against Vegas, at LA. You got Dallas you're at Dallas, and then you're home against Carolina, and you're home against New Orleans. All right. So that's a pretty tough schedule, right? Which that could lead to a slight regression, which I think they are going to take a slight regression from the offensive standpoint due to the fact that they lost their OC from last year. However, I still think they remain a strong contender. And if Mayfield continues to upward trajectory, I predict them going 8-9, right? Like, I think Tampa Bay goes 8-9 with this type of with this type of schedule, man. I think Tampa Bay goes 8-9. And another thing is, if I'm predicting stats for Baker Mayfield, so if I go to Baker Mayfield here, I mean, here's the thing. Let me go to his view player page. Yep, there we go. I mean, I think this guy, basically, if I'm predicting stats for him, like, I think Baker will probably end up throwing for actually more yards. I think he throws for like 4,200 yards. And I actually think he throws for like 30 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. So I think he'll throw, 200 yards more, 2 touchdowns more, but I think he throws 12 interceptions. And I think his completion rating will be around 65%. He may have some rushing yards, so around like 150 rushing yards. Maybe he'll rush a touchdown or 2, right? That's where I kind of see Baker Mayfield next year. But I got the Bucs going 8-9, and I think they're second in the division. I think the Bucs are second in this division. I think they don't win it this year. I think that the Bucs will be second. All right, let's do the Atlanta Falcons. All right, they finished 7-10 last year. Overall, 17th. Offense, 18th. Defense, 11th. Special teams, 30th. All right, but not very good on special teams. They got Kirko Bangs, right? Not Kirko Bangs. Kirko Chains. Trying to be funny, and it didn't work. Kirko Chains signed a 4-year, $180 million contract. They bring in a veteran. I think that they needed, right? They need to bring in a guy like Kirk for the leadership, a guy with a strong arm, which Desmond Ridder did not have, nor did Taylor Heineke. His early 2023 performance obviously was cut short due to that Achilles injury, but he was on the verge of really having an impressive year. But then you got Bijan Robinson, right? That's another guy I want to talk about. The 2023 8 overall pick. I think this kid aims to have another stellar rookie season. You got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, both young stars expected to thrive in this revamped offense, and I think they both will with a guy like Kirk Cousins throwing them the ball. They also got some new faces, right, in Atlanta. They've got Raheem Morris as a new coach, who's taken over after Arthur Smith got fired. You got Zach Robinson, the OC, former Rams assistant, who's expected to bring in this innovative offensive strategy. So, when it comes to Atlanta, I think they've fortified the offensive line. Their offensive line's it's probably top. It might even be top 3. Atlanta's offensive line might even be top 3. Their backfield is dynamic. A lot of people don't give Tyler Algier the credit that he deserves either. I think the Falcons look poised for a significant improvement. I think if Cousins stays healthy, that's going to be crucial for them. Atlanta could. I think they're going to top the Buccaneers. And honestly, the reason why I think that Atlanta will top the Buccaneers is because, number one, they have the best odds to win this division now, right? Because of the moves they made in this offseason. The signing of Kirk Cousins does change a lot of things, right? And the addition of their key offensive pieces, the success is going to depend heavily on Cousins' health and the new coaching staff's ability to integrate the talent effectively, right? So if I was predicting let's say if I was predicting, looking at their schedule. So here it is. Again, I think the Falcons go 9-8. Here's the thing. You're at the Miami Dolphins. All right. You're back to back at Baltimore and Miami. I think both of these games are losses, right? I think they go 0-2 off the bat, but then it gets a little easier against the Jaguars and the Steelers. That defense of the Steelers is top 5 in the league, I think. But again, then you're at the Eagles, then you're home against the Chiefs, home against the Saints, home against the Bucks, right? Those 2 games right there at home are crucial for them. But then they're at the Panthers with us. They're home against Seattle, then they're at the Bucks, they're home against the Cowboys, then they're at the Saints, at the Broncos. They face the Chargers, then they're at the Vikings, at the Raiders, home for the Giants, at the Commanders, and then they're home against us. So again, it's still not an easy schedule, but again, I still think they go 9-8. I would predict something around for Kirk Cousins. Like if we're looking at Kirk Cousins' stats, because he was 9th in the league before he got injured last year, which is insane to me. Yeah, he was on the verge. He had 18 touchdowns when he got injured and 5 interceptions, which is just, it's crazy to me because I think this guy was on the verge of having a career year. I think that Kirk Cousins, though, will throw for 4,100 yards. I think he'll have like 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he'll have like a 68% completion percentage. The thing is with Kirk is that he's coming off an Achilles. And again, that's not an easy injury to come back from. So again, I definitely think that he'll take a step back because that performance right there, the guy was probably on the verge of almost, at the pace that he was going, he was on the verge of almost reaching 5,000 yards and maybe 40 plus touchdowns, the way that he was going before that Achilles injury. So, again, but I think that coming off that injury, it's going to take him some time to get back and to full swing. Let's go back to, all right, so let's go into now the Saints. And then, I think the Saints are the third. They'll be third. I think Carolina, again, is still a team that, I can't believe they finished 9-8 last year. The Saints did. I actually think they're going to regress. I still think that they're going to be the third best team. I think the Saints are going to need Derek Carr to replicate his late season performance. So what he did at the end of the year last year, coming down the stretch there late in the season, he needs to replicate that performance throughout the rest of the season for them to even be close to going back to 9-8. Their defense has to generate more pressure, even though they had a top 10 defense, third in special teams, which is huge. They have an influx of new talent. Some coaching changes should help, but it might not be enough to leapfrog them to the more established teams in the division. I think New Orleans definitely goes 7-10. When you look at the thing is the key players here are definitely Derek Carr, right? That's number one. He ended the 2023 season on a high note. Showed promise for 2024. I would say Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are also key players on this team. They can definitely form a reliable receiving duo. Of course, another key player for this team, and it's on the defensive side of the ball for the Saints, is Cameron Jordan, right? That veteran presence on that defensive side that needs to improve its pass rush. But they did bring in Chase Young, who signed a 1-year deal, $13 million contract to add to that pass rush. They did sign Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I was high on coming out of the draft and expected probably to make an immediate impact. So, again, the Saints need Carr to maintain a late season form and for their pass rush to improve significantly, right? New Orleans could be a dark horse for this division if the elements and everything fall into place. But when you look at their schedule, it's just like everybody else is in this division. It's not easy. Even though apparently we have like the 7th easiest schedule in the NFL or something like that Carolina has. It's still not – I still think that in the NFL, power rankings of schedules really don't matter, honestly. But, that's neither here nor there. It's not like college football power ranking schedules. I think in college, you can make the case more than you can in the NFL. I think in the NFL, the saying goes when we're talking about any given Sunday, right? But looking at their schedule, I mean, you're at Arizona, who had a very good push at the end when Kyler Murray came back. Then you're at San Fran. Then you're home against the Titans. You're home against the Panthers. Then you're at Dallas, home against Philly. Then you're at the Falcons. And you're at the Chiefs. That's a tough stretch right there. That is a tough stretch. At Dallas, then you play Philly. Then you're at Atlanta, at the Chiefs. And then you play the Bucs. Like, that's a 5-game stretch right there. Is absolutely insane, right? Oh, okay. These are preseason, so my bad, but still. But that's that first 5-game stretch at Dallas, home against. I don't care. You're at home against Philly. You're still playing a playoff team. You're at the Falcons. You're at the defending Super Bowl champs, and then you're at the team that has won the division 3 years in a row. That's a tough 5-game stretch. I'm sorry. Home against Denver. Then you're at LA. You're at Carolina. Home against the Falcons. You're home for Cleveland. You get a bye at week 12. You're home against the Rams. You're at New York. You're home against Washington. You're at Green Bay. You're home against Vegas. And then you're at Tampa. So, again, tough stretch. Again, I think the Saints go like 7-10. Again, I think they're still third in this division. Looking at Derek Carr, though, I mean, his stat lines, what he had last year is pretty close to what I was going to predict. Again, I was going to say 3,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, but I was going to say 14 interceptions. And I would say completion percentage of 67%. And then, of course, I have us, right? I have Carolina at 6-11. I got Carolina at 6-11. All right. It's crazy to look at this 30th overall, but we have a tied for 15th defense. Yeah, I think that, again, when I'm predicting this NFC South team, this division, again, this team's in rebuild mode. So I think 6-11 is realistic. Again, the call comes down to Bryce Young. He has to bounce back from a terrible rookie season. You get additions like Deontay Johnson, right? Who's going to be a reliable target for Bryce. You got J.C. Horn, who's got to stay healthy in the secondary. I think those 3 players are key, right? You bring in new faces like new head coach Dave Canales. You bring in guys like Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, key additions, strengthen that offensive line, sure. Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, Javion Sanders, that's your future, right? But that does provide immediate offensive support. So the whole outlook on the Carolina Panthers is that Young's development and the upgraded offensive line are critical for this team's success, for sure. And if Ellis can unlock Young's potential like he's done with these other guys like Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, this defense can continue to hold its firm, then I think the Panthers could make a surprise run, right? But that's only if. again, everything's got to fall where it lies. Because again, this is Bryce Young's second season, right? You have all these promising improvement, but you have a lot of ground to cover after last season, right? So the influx of new talent, coaching changes, I definitely think should help, but it might not be enough for us to leapfrog the more established teams in this division. So again, I got us going 6-11, and I've already given my Bryce Young stats, but I'll do it again. My prediction for him, man, I think he's going to improve for sure from this, right? I predict something around, I think it's going to be 3,500 plus yards, right? I think I predicted like 3,547 yards, something like that. I think he'll have at least 20 to 23 touchdown, 20 to 25 touchdown range, right? But I think the interceptions will go up. I think he'll have around, 13 to 15 interceptions. And I think his completion percentage will be around 63%. And then I think he'll have some rushing yards. I think we could see him having an influx in rushing yards, like 300, and maybe we'll see him put in four touchdowns, something like that. But I still see us being last in the division. I do, right? When we're predicting this, I mean, again, it comes down when it comes to predicting these divisions. It's very the division. It all comes down to the fact of if everything falls where it lies. Like if all the chips fall in line, right? I think 6-11 is a realistic record for this team, right? Even when you're looking at the schedule. So, yeah, I think 6-11 is very realistic, especially if we have the significant improvements. Who is Tampa's OC? What's good, Quan? I appreciate Uncle Quan's in here. The Panthers experience. What's up, man? I hope you all is well. Who is Tampa's OC? His name is again. I just said his name earlier. Tampa's OC, the guy that is out of the Rams. Liam Cohen. He was the former Rams and Kentucky OC. University of Kentucky. Marcos. I'm going to say the Panthers and Falcons will be battling for the division. Last year was just pure chaos. No one on the same page. I mean, Marcos, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Again, I think everything has to fall in place. Red Swarm's in here. He's got his Falcons 11-6. I mean, hey, Red Swarm, I got you winning the division. I just looked at your schedule, though. I just don't see you winning 11 games. I think 9-8, but you win the division. I think the Bucs go 8-9. I think the Saints go 7-10, and I think we go 6-11. But that's just me. I think it's going to be a close division. I don't see us. I think we progress, but I don't see us going that far. I just don't see us going that making it I just don't see us battling it out. Just don't. Not yet. It's just not all together yet. So. All right, guys. Well, I'm hopping off of here. I appreciate everyone joining. We broke down a lot today, talking about the whole Adrian Wilson situation. Of course, we did talk about Luke Kuechly and what he said about Bryce Young's leadership. We also talked about we did a pre-depth chart, training camp depth chart edition, went over that. And then, of course, we broke down the NFC South. Yeah, again, guys, I think Atlanta wins it. They go 9-8. I think the Bucs go 8-9. I think the Saints go 7-10. I think Carolina goes 6-11. That's the way I see it. I think it's going to be close. I think this division is going to be close because this is an unpredictable division. right? I think the NFC South is probably one of the most unpredictable divisions in the NFL, right? I think it's going to be a thrilling race, though. I think all four teams have clear paths to the division title for sure, but I think the Falcons are the favorites on paper, right? I mean, again, the unpredictability of the NFL, that's what draws us in as fans, right? So, and I expect that, and who knows, there could be plenty of surprises awaiting ahead for anyone's team in this division. So, again, we shall see, but that's where I see it standing. So, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I'm hopping off of here. I will be live tomorrow before I got to head out of town. So, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe. Of course, follow me on all my social media. And of course, feel free to join the Discord. Memberships are available now. At the end of the month, I am going to do a membership giveaway. Every month from here on out to the end, and once the season starts, I am going to do a giveaway for the members of the Ropp Star community. So, whether it's a jersey, whether it's tickets, whether it's a gift card, whether maybe it's a hat, whatever the case may be. Also, don't forget about joining or going and subscribing to Roundtable Sports. Again, guys, don't forget to go check it out. Remember, I was showing this at the beginning. I just signed with them. Go check them out over there at Roundtable Sports. That's where we're going to be. I'm going to be a part of I'm probably going to end up doing the live daily NFL show, which was going to be from 5 to 6, Monday through Friday with them. I'm probably going to be a part of that. And then, of course, don't forget to go and subscribe to the NFC South Roundtable, which, as you can see, Mr. Bucks Nation, Smitty Sports Machine, State of the Saints podcast, and then, of course, myself is going to be a part of, which we are going to be starting that up, which will be either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. It's only going to be one night a week. It's going to be between those 3 days from, I think, 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 9, something like that, on one of those days during the week. So go check it out. Roundtable Sports, and, of course, check out the NFC South Roundtable. And then, of course, they have all the other divisions. They got the AFC East, the NFC North, AFC South, NFC West. They got the NFC East. They're getting all the divisions together to start this whole one big NFL community, and for you guys to be able to watch your favorite content creators debate it out and talk football. So don't forget about that. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Be safe. And as always, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.